Hi guys, and welcome to today's oil painting time-lapse and studio sessions episode 27. And right now there's a special holiday sale going on at my shop, and you can use the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com to get 15% off your entire order plus a free mystery gift. The sale ends December 25th and the URL is happyd-artist.com. And more importantly, this holiday season, I'm trying to raise $1,000 for one of my favorite charities, the ASPCA, which stands for the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They're a nonprofit organization that rescues and rehomes so many adorable pets all across the country, and they are also where I adopted my 2 dogs. So 25% of all sales in my shop this month will be donated to the ASPCA. Today's video is brought to you by Skillshare, and I just wanted to thank them for supporting this channel and the art community. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 17,000 classes taught by professionals in fields ranging from art to photography to cooking to computers. And at less than $10 a month, it is one of the best deals out there for quality online education. I've been familiar with Skillshare for a while now, and I can honestly say that they truly do have so many different thorough and in-depth classes that can help you improve your skills in many different sectors such as composition, anatomy, drawing, painting, watercolor, so many different mediums. And as a special gift to my viewers, Skillshare is offering a 2-month free trial for the first 100 people that sign up with the link in my description and also on the screen. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for bearing with me and the long intro. Let's finally dive into today's video. This painting actually features one of my 4 pets. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, and this cat's name is Juan Juan. I actually rescued him from my local animal shelter in a small town when I was in high school. He has been with me for so long and has moved with me all across the country many times. So this piece was largely inspired by the kind of bond and love that I share with my cats. And I wanted to just do like a giant, almost horse-sized cat and a young girl who is tying a ribbon on his tail, which matches the ribbon on her head. And I think the ribbon to me symbolizes not only their similarities and their kinship, but also the bond that they have on a spiritual level and emotional level. And since we're on the topic of inspiration, I thought in today's video I would share with you guys some of the things that inspire me personally. I know I've given a lot of tips on how you guys can find ways to inspire and motivate yourselves, but I don't think I've ever shared what specifically inspires me. So for me, my inspiration comes from an eclectic collection of sources, but mainly the things that inspire me most are fairly abstract. They're not really specific movies or music or books, but rather kind of feelings and vibes that I pick up throughout the day. And I hang on to those general feelings and I try to manifest them visually in either an artwork or a quick thumbnail sketch in my sketchbook, or even in words that I like to jot down just on my iPhone. And basically, when I'm going about the day living my life, whether I'm working or having fun, I'm always keeping an eye out for possible sources of inspiration and always kind of aware of my surroundings. So it could be something as simple as taking a walk and seeing a certain shade of red in the leaves on the trees and remembering that shade of red and kind of the feeling that it evoked inside of me. And sometimes if I feel it really strongly, I will jot it down. If I have a sketchbook on me, I'll try to draw something, but if I don't have a sketchbook, I'll just open the notes app in my iPhone and jot down like something like red. It's warm and passionate and slightly angry or something like that. And usually when I look through my notes, when it's time to sit down and start a piece of artwork, I have many, many notes, both verbal and visual, of general feelings and kind of poetic, abstract statements that I want to reflect in my art. So it doesn't even have to be something super specific. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I will think of something specific. Like one time I remember I was driving alongside of the highway with the ocean on one side, and I had this sudden urge to do a painting of a mermaid because the ocean reminded me of aquatic creatures and mermaids. And while I was driving, I got to see all these cool rock formations, so I had many ideas for what I wanted the background of the mermaid painting to be. I wanted some jagged ocean rocks. And so when I wrote that idea down in my notes app, it had many little details. I said I wanted a mermaid to be posed a certain way. I wanted the colors to be these shades of blue. I wanted the jagged, big bouldery rocks in the background. And that's really nice. When I have inspiration that's super specific, I can actually afford to write down a very detailed guideline of my next piece. It's always, of course, a plus. But sometimes, my inspirations are very vague and nebulous, like I mentioned before, and it's just a general vibe. I'll write down something like, paint something with a lot of movement that's very elegant, or paint something that's very eerie and cold and feels like a chilly evening. So small things like that basically plant seeds of inspiration in my mind. When I'm looking at a blank canvas and I'm kind of daunted at just this big white blank canvas in front of me and not sure where to even start, I refer to my idea journal or my concept sketchbook and pick up on these small little grains of ideas and try to snowball them or grow them or nurture them into something more thorough and more cohesive. In general, though, I think I'm a fairly nocturnal creature. I always enjoy starting and ending my day fairly late. So a lot of things that inspire me have to do with darkness or with nighttime. If you have been following my artwork for a while, you know that I went through a phase where I was super obsessed with painting nebulas and various galaxies and space formations. Nowadays, I don't paint as many nebulas, but I always add a little stars into my pieces. Or if you notice the environments and backgrounds of most of my paintings, the vast majority of them take place at night, like this painting here. I don't know why. I think in general, when I look outside the window and I see darkness or I see stars or just even like a dimly lit street, the darkness allows my mind the space to kind of fill in the blanks and imagine what could be out there. When I look out my window and it's daytime and I see, different buildings, different schools, different sidewalks, different cafes and trees and grass. I'm having a little bit of a harder time imagining or creating something new because the world around me is already so tangible and so solid. But when I look outside and it's dark or foggy or cloudy, this is also why I like cloudy, dark days and rainy days. The darker it is or the foggier and more nebulous it is, the more opportunities I have to create a new world of my own. So I'm always inspired in the evening. And also, I get super inspired by music. I always like to play music when I paint. This weird habit I have, even if I'm listening to a podcast or watching TV or watching YouTube videos, I always like to keep the audio at maybe 50% and always play a backtrack of my music. So even if I'm watching something else, I have my music playing in the background, which is kind of hilarious. But the types of music that I really enjoy for painting and for inspiration are things with really strong melodies. I generally prefer instrumentals, but occasionally I'll also listen to songs with lyrics. Like I said before, my sources for inspiration are very eclectic and there's really no set pattern as to what inspires me. So sometimes classical music will inspire me. Sometimes listening to trap or EDM will inspire me. So it really depends on the day, depends on my mood. But generally, I love things with a beautiful, strong, catchy melody and usually a strong bass line, except for the days where I'm in the mood for classical music, of course. And in terms of movies, I'm also really heavily inspired by sci-fi. And I think this ties into my love for the dark evening sky because sci-fi films, especially space sci-fi films, I get to see a lot of beautiful cinematography and imagery that reminds me of my favorite nightscapes. But I also think the thing I love about sci-fi, especially if it's set in the future, is that the vibe of a sci-fi plot is usually trying to imagine or build a world that we're not familiar with. And that really puts my mind in a very creative place, because with my paintings, I'm trying to achieve the same objective. I'm trying to create a world that doesn't really exist and filling in the blanks on all the little details of what that world could look like and feel like. And lastly, of course, like most of you watching this, I get heavily inspired by seeing other creators create, whether it's other artists who are painting or watching musicians make their music or play live shows, or even listening to podcasts from different types of creators like novelists or actors. Whenever I see someone passionately do what they love and create something that brings them so much fulfillment and joy, it really, really inspires me to also do the same. So I hope you guys liked my little ramble about inspiration, and I'd love to hear in the comments below the things that inspire you. And before I leave, I just quickly wanted to announce that I have given my Patreon page a huge makeover. This past month, I have been working extra hard in trying to improve my rewards so that they can be catered towards what you guys want to see the most. So I've added so many new things, such as monthly video tutorials that are exclusive to patrons only, a longer 40-minute video podcast where I answer your questions about art career. There's also step-by-step tutorial guides and a peek into my secret sketchbook that I don't show anyone else, and so many more cool rewards. I would love it if you guys checked it out and joined my awesome Patreon family. You can go to patreon.com/happydartist. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!